everybody, this is Sunny or Syndicate Sammy. I'm coming back to you with Somewhere in the Snow, Eyeless Jack X Reader, and this is the seventh chapter, A Glitching Headache. And as we can all tell, maybe this might be introducing someone that we know and that we really like. At least I thought he was cool when I growing up. Um, but yeah, let's get started. Awful. That was your first thought. You looked into your bathroom's mirror as you bandaged up yourself. Scratches and a few tiny pieces of wood was buried into your precious skin. Dark spots under your eyes seemed to reveal itself every second. You were just so tired. Sighing softly as your heartbeat drummed slowly, you add the last band-aid to the last of your wound. Your body ached and throbbed each heartbeat, but you were okay. No broken bones, no critical injuries, nothing. Looking at yourself one last time, you groan loudly, pulling at your hair as your headache increases. You wanted them to leave and never come back. It didn't matter that either one didn't do anything recently. You just wanted them to be gone. Is that too much to ask for? Letting go of your hair, you make your way out of the bathroom as you slightly trembled within each step. You pass the room that those three were in. You didn't dare to take a quick glance or even acknowledge the trio that sat inside the room. You hear Jeff repeating your name as soon as he saw you pass by. Why in? Why in? Why in? That was all you heard. You roll your eyes, not caring whether or not if they saw you. You didn't even know how Jeff knew your name. Maybe it was because of Jack or Smile. Ugh, just thinking about them made your body boil with stress. You thought about ways to get rid of them as you just found yourself in the kitchen, leaning onto the fridge, plotting each and every way possible known to a man. You knew it was childish. Fuck no. It wasn't at all, actually. They all caused you trouble, almost making you go insane with each second it took out of you. You kept a frown to your face as you just leaned there, in the kitchen, thinking about everything that had happened to you in less than a week. Everything was a mess. What if Doc didn't leave? What if he didn't go into the forest and look further out into the snow? Those were your thoughts. You felt yourself doze off as you looked at a random spot in your kitchen. It was silent, silent as if no one was in Doc's old room. You enjoyed the moment before snapping out of your thoughts. It was a little too quiet. Your eyes widened slightly before your slow heartbeat drummed a little faster. You pushed yourself off the fridge before rushing towards the hallway and towards the room they were in. You had socks on, and with almost every movement you slipped and tumbled you took. Shit, 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 you uttered, your eyes spotting the light that came out from the room. Still no sound coming out from there. You reached from the doorframe and slid and turned to face them all. Okay, maybe you were just a bit delusional and too much of a worry bear. You stared at the men as they all stared back, confusion following their faces as they all sat there. Jeff just had his normal and relaxed face on with his mouth in a thin line as he stared at you. Jack's head was slightly turned as he laid on his bed, a hand on his stomach and the other supporting the back of his head like another pillow. Meanwhile, Smile, on the other hand, had his face stuffed and under the bed before popping his head out and panting at you. What, you miss us already? Jeff raised his eyebrows as he and the others noticing your heavy breathing out from your mouth and oblivious blinking. Maybe you were close to death at this point. You closed your mouth before gulping the dryness out from your mouth and licking your lips. You shook your head and took your hand on a fist before fake coughing and standing straight up. You didn't say a word, or even to Jeff's question before leaving them hanging in the room. You rub in between your eyebrows with your thumb and pointer finger at your stupidity and embarrassment of your actions. They would never get out and disappear in a second. What the hell am I thinking? He thought. It was your wish for them to disappear and leave, though. Although it would kind of haunt you that they knew where your house was and might tell their other little friends, if they had some, and come after you as revenge for whatever reason. As you walk away, you hear Jeff one more time. You don't want to speak to us because of what happened? It wasn't even me and Jack who did it. It was you and Smile. Jeff started. I already am starting to miss the YN, who is just too fucking easy to mess with, Jeff sang. He wanted to get a reaction out of you, and he did. He paused for a moment. You could tell in his voice that he was just trying to fuck with you again, but it didn't help that the event that happened started to rush back into your mind. Ugh, the fucking embarrassment. Your voice echoed throughout the trees and beyond the forest. Water dripped from your face and down to your chin as your face seemed to turn red out of anger and a bit of sadness. You let go of the trees that supported you up. You stumbled a bit, but you stomped your way towards Jeff and Jack. Jeff had his mouth left agape and into an amused smile. Seeing you get all angry and sad made him fill with excitement, as well as the tiny bits of blood creeping down your face and arms from the scratches you had gotten during the crash. Jack, on the other hand, tilted his head as if he were a dog, curious of you and what will happen next. He hadn't seen you this furious before, neither did Jeff. Curiosity seemed to sprout inside him. Stomping towards the direction of Jeff and Jack were in, you reached in between Jack and Jeff's shoulders, pushing them away as your body swelled with anger and other mixed emotions. Jeff just let you bump into him and just kept smiling at you. You could feel his stare bore into each part of your body. Jack, on the other hand, stumbled because he still had a little bit trouble walking and standing up. You didn't care about that in the specific moment. Why would you care about whatever these two were thinking? You had your own stuff you had to let out and take care of after all. As you pushed through the two of them, you could feel your tears coming out of your eyes like a waterfall. You cried because of the sled. You cried because of Smile. You cried because you were throbbing and aching. You cried because of worry for your dogs. You cried because of how you felt. You cried out of embarrassment for crying in front of these two. And you knew you couldn't do anything about it. Going up against Smile is a death wish no matter how you bubbled with emotions. You were tough, but not that tough after all. You stomped towards your dogs and Smile. Snow crackled below your boots. Your snow pants had snow inside as well as your socks. It made you even more annoyed that snow went through your layers and met your skin that was hidden in between. Your dogs seemed to lay flat on the ground as some had their heads up, panting and taking their time as they recovered from running to their fullest. Smile, on the other hand, looked down at your dogs. You could see he was only just a bit tired, but it was even close to how your dogs felt in the moment. With each step you got closer and closer to them. Once you reached their place, you and Smile stared at each other. You could feel yourself drowning in his pearls, not in a good way, of course. You didn't know why this would happen every time, but you were sure to snap out of it. You blinked a few times and shook your head slightly. Then you glared. Glared at him even through your eyes shined with tears. The eyes were bloodshot red, but you didn't care. He put you and your dogs in danger, and that was all that mattered. You could have suffered serious injuries as well as your dog. Shit, you could have died for all you knew. You just glared at the dog like it was a silent warning. That's all you did, nothing else. Nothing to do but stare at the dog. You look away, going to your dogs before grabbing each one of them and checking if they were okay. You could never know if they were impacted until you looked for any wounds or limping. All your dogs were okay, none of them were hurt in the process, and no limping from what you saw. Relief washed over you. That disappeared once you reminded yourself about the sled. Stella licked your face as you stood back up from your kneeling position. You didn't move your body as soon as you turned your head slightly. That was all you needed to see. You wanted to burst out crying again as you see the condition the sled was in. You grip onto your scalp as a headache began to form out of frustration and stress. Jack and Jeff were no longer there. Although they were close by, you could tell by the snickering and sneering coming from Jeff in a distance. You knew he wouldn't do anything. His hands were still tied up after all, and Jack still stumbled and stumbled with almost each step. It would take maybe a few or more days to fix the sled. It was just more extra work. You snap out of the memory, eyes widening. How long was I standing there? You ask yourself. Shaking your head, you remember what Jeff said when you passed by. You didn't feel like talking to him, so you just mumbled out a shut up as low as you can get. not caring whether or not the males heard. You continued your journey out the hallway into the living room. You stumbled upon the couch before plopping right in the center of it and grunting. At this point, you just needed some rest. You lay flat onto the couch like a pancake before reaching over to the TV remote that was stuck in between the couch and your body. You tapped on the button, which turned on the TV screen, presenting you the home page. Various of shows and apps to watch other movies and all the stuff came up. You didn't even know what to watch, so you clicked a random button on the remote, which took you to a channel. It didn't really matter if it was some old gray show, you just wanted to clear out your mind. Once you clicked onto the button, it showed one of the news channels. As Michael Owens described the creature as a pale and skinny figure that almost seemed to blend in with the snow. Only thing was that stuck out was the skin that was stained in a dried up red, not to mention the long, thick claws and jaw that hung right open. There are many sightings of this creature on the internet, although some reports were proven to be fake and edited. In this recording and interview, Michael will be describing more further into the details of what he had seen. You raise your eyebrows at the TV screen. Creature, you thought. Your mind went blank as you thought about the boys that was inside your house. Maybe they were the creature, you joked in your mind, knowing the description on this creature didn't actually fit, and from your imagination, didn't look nowhere near them three. Your arm hung at the side of the couch as your hand held the remote. You breathed silently as your eyes seemed to have heavy weights on your eyelids. Although you fought back your tiredness because you were interested on what the news had to say, the screen loads into a man who fidgeted with his thumbs and cracked his fingers. He looked frightened. I'm telling you, I saw it with my very own eyes. I couldn't believe it at first, but I knew it was real. I thought the internet was just making up jokes to scare other people, but it really is true. Sir, do you mind telling us more details of the specific creature you saw? Yes, it almost looked as if it was a human. Of course it wasn't. Its jaw looked like it was too heavy for it to even close it. It had teeth sharper than any animal or human I know of. It made weird noises, almost like an old man who couldn't talk and was in serious pain. Its eyes, they were pure gray and white, and not a single hair stuck onto the thing. And when it saw me, it stared. It stared at me. I couldn't move at that point. Although I knew I had to run after it let out a shrieking sound, it was just loud and not ordinary. I can't even explain the sound it made. All I knew was that it tried coming towards me, but couldn't as its jaws and the claws dragged and it seemed too heavy for its normal weight. You didn't know whether or not this guy was making up things. All you knew was that it sounded fake as hell. He probably didn't even know how to explain it well, and he looked as if he was paranoid and nervous as his eyes scattered among the area. Maybe it was real after all. There was Jack and Smile. The recording went on about the characteristics and details of the creature, and then it showed some pictures of what it might have looked like. You saw how skinny and bony each representation of the creature was. It almost looked alike, but only just a few differences. You saw what the creature Michael described. It looked miserable and terrifying. As well as the others, of course. There was one that looked like Michael's creature, but without a heavy-weighted jaw and claws. It almost looked normal compared to the others. One had a forehead like a beluga whale and seemed to scratch at its head. Another was smaller compared to the others, and its hands seemed to be curved like an eagle to land on branches of some sort. You shook your head at the somewhat disturbing pictures and drawings. You kept staring at the pictures, and it was not long before you felt as if you were about to fall asleep. This time, you'd let your body rest. You blink slowly as you finally doze off. You breathe softly out from your mouth, hearing the TV clearly and into a muffled sound as you fell asleep. Your hand loosened as it held the TV remote. Your finger twitched before the remote drops and hits the floor 2 times. It was quite nice hearing the men stay quiet as you slept. Maybe it was a little too quiet, but you had already checked on them. That was your first mistake. You didn't seem to notice the chaotic green glitching on the TV screen, mostly because you had fallen asleep. And you also didn't seem to notice the two red orbs that seemed to shine as the screen glitched out. The lights flickered slightly as you slept peacefully, and it was already there. Author's note, nothing to see here. Sorry for any typos and other BS, I'm sleep deprived. I entirely relate on that. Again, I do apologize if my voice sounds off. I have seemed to definitely catch something, and I don't know if you guys could hear me clearing my throat a lot of that, and I am so sorry. But the next chapter is going to be the 8th chapter, Mama, the Dog's on the Loose. And I'm hoping you guys are liking this so far. We are almost, what is this? We're almost halfway through. Got through, we're about to go to 8. Yeah. Well, anyways, I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna go record the next episode and then I will get back with you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.